Trying a new show format today. This is the Hot List here on Old Man Squad Fantasy Basketball, presented by FanDuel and the FanDuel Sportsbook, as well as the Believe network of podcasts. What the hell is the Hot List? It's a great question. These are the 12 hottest players in all of fantasy basketball and what we can derive from it, if there's anything actionable from these 12 names. We're going to try to do about 2 minutes per name. My goal is a 25-minute show. You know how close I get to my goals. Not that close. So do the thing. Subscribe. That's the button. That's the word I was trying to find. Subscribe to the show, however you're taking it in. Like, if you're watching on YouTube, that actually really does make a difference. And, of course, I will see you guys on social media at Dan Bespris. Let's start talking about some of these hot players a little more. Who are the hottest players in fantasy basketball? So these are the top 12 players in fantasy over the past week. There's no reason to do this show more than once a week. And if we do it every couple of weeks, then we can start to stretch it out that way. How many of these players do you have? Feel free to throw that in the comment section if you feel like you want to gloat. And do we believe what we're seeing is real? And what can we do about it? Let's start with the first player on the list, and that is Kawhi Leonard. The numbers listed is admittedly not the world's simplest way of displaying it, but it runs across the board: points, threes, boards, assists, steals, blocks, and then splits. Basically, I didn't bother to put turnovers in there because I don't really care about them. Not that I don't play 9-cat. I do play 9-cat. It's what I do. But from they're at the top of the board, so it can't be that bad kind of take on turnovers. I just didn't bother to write them in. Kawhi is number one. Over the last week, he's averaging 30.5 points a game, 3.5 threes, 4.5 boards and assists, 5 steals per game, 1 block a game on 57/100 splits. He has not missed a free throw over the past week. Sat out their last ball game. So, yes, this was a slightly smaller sample size. But he's 12 for 12 at the foul line. So that's what that equates to. Pretty amazing stuff from a guy that I know he just rested a ball game, but was drafted in the 40s. And here's the thing about Kawhi. Kawhi Leonard was always going to be a first rounder. It was so easy. You could have seen this. I could have seen this. I haven't done this on a podcast in a while. Where the hell am I? What do I even look like without glasses on a podcast? Confusing, right? I'm probably squinting without even realizing it. Here, I'll open my eyes real wide. That seems like a thing a normal person would do. Oh, there I am. The Kawhi, you take the good with the bad. He's played 6 of the 7 games for the Clippers. If he basically just misses the back-to-backs, you have a colossal win. Colossal. Is he going to be the number 1 player all year? No. But he's very much a top 10 guy in fantasy basketball. He's one of the only players in fantasy that can actually be a positive in all 9 categories. So just enjoy it, because you're not going to sell him for something. And if you could, what would you do? Like a second rounder that is not going to sit out games? That might end up being about the same value over the course of the season. And you're not going to get it, because whoever didn't take him probably did so because they were like, I don't want Kawhi Leonard because he's hurt all the time. Your best chance, if you wanted to sell Kawhi Leonard, is to try to find that other team in your league that actually was looking at him in the 4th and you just happened to scoop him right before. And they're like, come on, this is the guy I wanted. And if that's the case, you're looking for basically like a bona fide second rounder that's not going anywhere. So like Kevin Durant, who I think is probably going to work his way up to the 1st over the course of this year. Are you going to get him? Probably not. Do you want Donovan Mitchell? I don't know. Honest to goodness, I might rather have Kawhi Leonard. But I'm also a psychopath. Next name on the list, and again, 2 minutes per player is more than enough, is Nikola Jokic. This is another big no surprise. 25.3 points, 2.3 threes, 11 boards, 11 assists, 2.3 steals, 1.3 blocks, and 66% from the field, 70% at the free throw line. He's back to being Jokic again. He's up to number... he's number 1 overall now. It's so funny. Slow start for Nikola Jokic. He's number 1. He passed Wemby. It's crazy, man. Nobody, like, we're not even paying attention to the fact that he's averaging 23, 13, and 11 this year. That's stupid. Come on, man. That's like, he hasn't even been that good yet. Outrageous stuff from Jokic. He's a top guy. You're not going to sell him. You're not going to be able to buy him. Let's just keep on moving because this one's a who cares. Number 3 is a really interesting one. Tyrese Maxey has been amazing to start this year. He's averaging 30 points over the last week, 4.7 threes, 6 boards, 9 assists. I'm rounding a little bit, YouTubers. You can see the actual numbers. 1.3 steals, 1.7 blocks. What? On 51-94 splits over the past week. He's number 3 in all of fantasy basketball overall. And by the way, his averages overall are not that far off from this past week. He's number 3 over the last week. He's number 3 in general. The thing that jumps out about Maxey, as much as we love what he's doing and as unbelievable as it's been, there are some, not red flags, but like yellow-orange flags. Is that a fair color assessment? The yellow-orange flag, the biggest one, this one might actually be a red flag. This is orange-red. 42 minutes per game. There was no one in the NBA even in the ballpark of Maxey on that one. And the only player that is VJ Edgecombe, his teammate, at 39. Luka's at 38, and Reeves is at 38. But Luka has missed 4 games, and Reeves missed a game as well. So they're giving them some rest. And the Lakers are about to go into a really low traffic number of games. 3 of the top 5 minute per games guys in basketball are 76ers, and Maxey is a runaway number 1. Yeah, they had some overtimes built in there, but 42 is stupid high. That's not going to stick. I wish it would, but it's not. And if it does, he's going to just crump on the basketball court. So let's assume that that number comes back down to something reasonable. Also, of note, he has 8 blocks this year in 7 ball games. He had 21 blocks in 52 games last year and 33 blocks in 70 games the year before that. That's not going to stick. So the minutes, the blocks, and then everything that goes with the minutes, this is all going to taper off a little bit for Maxey. He's not going to average 34. And if he's continuing to shoot at this clip, which is pretty amazing, I'm not going to take the shooting away from Maxey. Let's just hope that 50% sticks. Maybe he's taken a leap there. But 1.7 blocks over his last week and 8 on the year is just a hard no. So what can you do with this? Honestly, I don't know if you can do all that much. He's number 3. Whoever drafted him probably took him near the end of the first round, beginning of the second round. So he's been a nice win so far. You're not going to be able to get one of those top 4 guys that we talk about, Jokic, Wemby, Shai, Luka, because they've all been really good also. Your only prayer there was one of those 4 guys had gotten off to a slow start, but they didn't. So your best move now with Maxey is probably just to pray. You know, you're not going to be able to go get Giannis, because that would be a total change of how your team is built. I don't think you want the other guys that went in front of Maxey at this point. Anthony Edwards, they were always going to be kind of close to one another. Cade, it's a more traditional guard build. What's the difference there? I don't want Trae Young anyway, and I didn't want him even before he got hurt. Cat's been good too, but you're probably not doing that. So I think you're probably, unfortunately, there's no actionable item here. I think you're probably just sitting on Maxey. Shai's number 4. This is another one where we can just kind of skim past it. He's at 30 points over the last week, 2.7 threes. That's kind of a nice little hello Shai thing. He's at 2 threes a game this year, which is not that far off from last season. Blocks are high, steals are low. Everything else is totally fine. 3 boards, 9 assists lately for Shai. But everything is going to balance out. He's going to be a top, 4 fantasy player at the end of the year. So cool. Nothing you need to do there. Here's an interesting one. Number 5 over the past week is Stephon Castle. Now, it's only 2 games. Spurs have had a light schedule over the past 7 days. But he's at 23.5 points, 2 threes, 6.5 boards and assists, 3 steals, a block, and 61-82 splits on Castle. So if you're sitting there thinking, oh, Dan, that's very interesting, but tell me why it's probably not going to stick. Yeah, I have a few reasons why. Number one, first of all, he's actually shooting the crap out of the ball so far this year. He's at 55% for the season, is Castle, through 6 ball games. That's probably not going to hold. I don't know exactly where it ends up. It's possible that this is a guy who's making strides in field goal percent year over year. But he was at 43% last year. So probably not going to jump all the way from 43 to 55. His shot profile hasn't changed that much. A little bit, sure, but not like not this. So expect that to take a nosedive into the pavement. Also of note on Castle, if you're looking at like year over year kind of stuff, last season, he blocked 22 shots in 80 games. Okay, so quarter of a block per game. This year, he's at half. Last year, he had 74 steals in 81 games. This year, he's at almost 2 steals per game. I think that some of that stuff could come up a little bit because I also think the minutes probably trend up a little bit for Castle. Not like a ton because he was playing a decent amount last season, but obviously those are on the rise as well. So there's a lot of stuff with Castle that you can point at and go, something ain't right here. His turnovers are also crazy high. He's at 4.8 per ball game for the year, and only 2 over this last week. So yeah, he's not going to average this stuff. This one is the sort of big mirage. Dylan Harper's out for a little bit, so that's going to help him. But De'Aaron Fox is not that far from coming back. That's going to put a dent into Castle. Right now, this is your opportunity to take Castle and go see if you can get someone. I would take almost anybody inside the top 60. And admittedly, he's much, 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 much better at 8-cat than 9-cat because that 4.7 turnover number is a whopper. He's number 60 in 8-cat, but I do think the field goal percent, the steals, the scoring, frankly, probably all comes down as well. So aim for top 60 with Castle. See what you can do. 9-cat, I think I'd be more than willing to settle for top 80, top 90. This is your opportunity right now. Take it. I told you we'd spend a little more time on the guys that made more sense. Cade Cunningham is number 6, 28 points, 2 threes, 5.7 boards, 12 assists over the last week, 2 steals, 1.3 blocks, and 52-70 splits. Overall on the year, he's just sort of working his way back to where we figured he would be. He's number 36 overall in 9-cat now. Turnovers are actually a little bit better this year for Cade. Assists are up a little bit for Cade. Field goal percent is down. Free throw percent is down. Where it all settles is probably, second round or something like that. And then he'll have his punt advantages. And it's too late to buy low. He was a buy low after the first week. He's not anymore. It is what it is. Let's keep going. Scottie Barnes is number 7 over the last week. And frankly, he's just been flat out good on the season so far. He's number 14 in 8-cat. He's actually better than that in 9. Number 10 in 9 category leagues because only 2 turnovers for a top-level guy has been really good. Number 7 over the last week, 22 points, 3 threes, 7.5 boards, little over 5 assists, 2 steals, 2.3 blocks. That's a big one. And that's probably the thing you look at with Scottie Barnes and say, yeah, this probably trickles off a little bit. I don't know if he's going to shoot 51%. I don't know that he's going to be at 1.5 blocks per game. He's at 3.1 combined defensive stats on the year. And over the last week, he's at 4.3. What can you do with Scottie? I don't know. You drafted him early to mid-third. He's probably going to end up as a second rounder. If you think you can get a first for him, you should. But what does that even mean? What's the first rounder you're trying to target? Are you targeting like a James Harden? Because it's probably not going to work. I would do it. A Steph Curry, I would do it. I don't think those are going to work, but I would do it. Could you get Cade? I don't even know if I would do it. Yeah, I probably would. Cade, Anthony Edwards, you might be able to get. I would consider that one. But how much profit are you really making here? If you can get one of those sort of more bona fide first rounders, you probably do make a little bit of profit. If you're trading for someone who you think is like an early second, I don't know that you're making that much profit. It's quite possible that Scottie Barnes is going to be a second rounder this year. He's done it before. So I don't know. You could try. Worth a shot if you have time, but don't break your back. Number 8, Karl-Anthony Towns, 25 points, 2 threes, 12.7 rebounds, 4.7 assists, 0.7 steals a block on 47-96 splits. This is pretty reasonable for Cat. Nothing completely outrageous here. It puts him kind of towards the mid-back end of the first round. The 8 free throws at 96% is what's kind of floating his value a little bit there. It's been a good season for most of the Knicks, but Cat is number 27 on the low field goal percent. As that comes up, he moves back towards kind of a turn range sort of guy. I think that's where you can value him, and I think there's really nothing that you could do from an actionable standpoint. So this is one of the ones where we'll just sort of quietly move on. Jabari Smith Jr., you want to talk about a mirage? This is one. I love Jabari Smith Jr. this year. He looks a lot better in what Houston's doing. The way they've moved pieces around has been a boon for him. But over the last week, he's averaging 18.5 points. Did miss a ball game, by the way. So this is just 2 games, small sample size stuff. 2.5 threes, 5.5 boards, 2.5 assists. 4 combined defensive stats. That's 1.5 steals, 2.5 blocks on 50-86 splits, and basically no turnovers. It's going to be a better year for Jabari Smith than it has been in the past, but he's a bit out over his skis in a couple of things. Number 1, he's shooting 91% at the foul line on the year. He's at 2.6 combined defensive stats on the year. The 15 points, 2 threes, 5 boards, that type of stuff he can probably replicate. The field goal percent feels like it's probably going to stick around 44. I don't think that's going to move all that much. So what are we looking at here? Not a first rounder, but he is number 41 overall. So the question on Jabari Smith Jr. becomes, what does your league think he is? Do they think he's going to be top 50? Do they think he's going to be better, worse? That's what you need to figure out if you're looking to sell high, because you should definitely be looking to sell high, but it might even be too early to do so. And the reason I say that, I'll tell you about after this promo. My promo is, please check the show description. First, like and subscribe. That's the biggest thing you can do. Those things are totally free, and they will help us immeasurably over the long haul. The other things, in the show description, I did finally open up a YouTube membership. It's basically Patreon, but right built into YouTube. So if you're looking for a way to get involved, it's 99 cents. It entitles you to absolutely nothing right this second. But I will say this, if I ever can catch up on YouTube messages, which I don't know that I ever will, if you are a YouTube member for 99 cents, I think I can turn it on so that your comments alert me. I can see them faster. So you might actually, if I do start answering them, you would get answered first. It's an if. I'm not saying I will, but if I do, you would get answered first. Also, we're going to start doing a subscriber pod once a month, probably, so not all that often. It's just going to be me talking to... I was actually thinking, last week I thought it might be fun to do my first subscriber pod with my wife. Now I kind of want to do it with my son. I kind of want to get Ashman on here. You guys would want to hear from Asher, right? He's got his birthday coming up. I think it's a week. Yeah, 1 week. He'll be 9 in a week. We get a 9-year-old on the pod. That's reasonable. He'd love to talk about sports. He's going to want to talk about baseball. But we'll just talk about stuff. Get my 9-year-old on the pod. First subscriber pod, me and Asher. That's what I've decided here on today's show. So that's stuff. These are things. It's fun stuff you get by signing up. Mostly you're just getting the satisfaction of knowing that you are helping me keep everything for everyone, the general public, completely free forever. So if you have 99 cents, great. If you don't worry about it. The biggest things are like, subscribe, help us out. Let's keep growing this thing. Appreciate you guys. Jabari Smith Jr. We're at that point of the year, and again, I want to get this thing wrapped up in the next 5 or 6 minutes, so I don't want to take too long. We're at that part of the season where most of a player's value is still tied to where they were drafted. And Jabari Smith Jr. was drafted in like the 115, 120 range. His final pre-rank was 131. He actually went down from 120, slid on the board. And I had him color-coded in light green, but I didn't end up with him in a ton of spots because typically I got one of my medium green guys in that 125, 130 range, like a Dante DiVincenzo, an Aaron Nesmith, someone like that. And those guys have been fine too. Obviously, Jabari's been better. But if you have him, most people that are waiting on a trade offer are going to see Jabari Smith Jr. in their inbox, and they're going to be like, this guy, I don't believe it yet. So, yeah, you could probably try to sell on Jabari Smith right now, but I think the best you're going to get is like a top 90 guy. I would consider rolling the dice that he can keep up the good pace for another 2 weeks, because if he does, you could probably move him for top 75. And he keeps it up for another 2 weeks beyond that, you'll start to get equal value coming back, because it's around that 6 to 8 week mark that people start believing what they're seeing. And players start to put more stock in what's actually happened as opposed to what we all thought was going to happen. So, yes, Jabari Smith Jr. is very much a sell high, but I would rather double down and see if he can keep it going and aim for more later. Devin Booker's number 10. This is a quick one. 33.5 points, 3.3 threes, about 4 boards, 7 assists. Not much in the way of defensive stats. 0.8 steals, 0.5 blocks. 52-94 splits. This is kind of what we wanted out of Booker, and now he's done it for the last week. I don't know how long it's going to keep up. He's number 39 overall right now in 9-cat. He's number 17 in 8-cat. I would like to see the assists get a little bit better. I think they might, as guys like Dillon Brooks and, more importantly, Jalen Green come back for the Suns. But also, like, he's doing a lot. There really isn't a whole lot more you can ask out of Booker. He's taken 22 shots a game and 8 free throws over the last week. That's a ton. The reason he's not higher is because he hasn't rebounded much and he isn't getting defensive stats. But that's kind of Devin Booker. He's probably going to be a guy ranked somewhere near the turn in 9-cat, maybe a little bit higher in 8. We're hoping for more assists as the season goes, but he's just going to be a high usage guy who's doing perfectly reasonable stuff. And there's really nothing you can do that's actionable with a hot week. OG Anunoby is number 11 on the board. That's kind of a fun one because he was one of our prime targets this year. And this is one of the ones that's definitely panning out. OG had a pre-rank of 72. He was easily the best pick in the 6th round. Certainly the best pick in the late 6th round. And he is performing to this point. 17 points, 5.7. Oh, sorry. Let's do the last week first. Over the last week, he's at 21, 4 and 3, 2.7 steals, 3.3 threes, 0.7 blocks, 58-75 splits. On the season overall, he's number 20. So he's been better lately, but it hasn't been by all that much. 17 points, 3 threes, 5.7 rebounds. He's still over 3 combined defensive stats. The percentages are a little bit lower. I think OG is a top 50 guy. So I'm not selling him for anything worse than like top 40 right now. Because I came into the year thinking he was going to beat his ADP by 2 rounds. He's beating it by 4 rounds. So you got to find a little profit there. Meaning, you can look at the whole board and look, OG's number 20. You should be hunting for someone that you think is going to finish, I don't know, maybe in the 30 range. Perhaps you could get them for a little bit cheaper than that right now. Looking at the board, trying to figure out exactly who that might be. I don't know that there's a perfect answer to that question. You're not going to get Josh Giddey. You're probably not going to get Jalen Johnson. Those are guys that I would have hoped for. Giddey certainly has been on the rise. I don't think you're going to get Jamal Murray. Looking a little farther down the board, is there somebody we think is going to move into the 30s that's been slower than that to start? Trey Murphy? I mean, I don't know. OG and Trey might finish neck and neck. So this might be another one where you kind of just have to double down and hope that he does it for another week or two. And then you can go to try to get someone. Maybe Jalen Johnson is still in the 30s at that point. Then you go do it. Maybe Jamal Murray is still at 25 and OG's at 19. These are little things. I think we're looking at with Anunoby, I think we're looking at a situation where you probably need to see him do it a little bit longer, and then you aim for a small profit margin because he was a guy we were super high on anyway. He was the guy I thought was going to survive the changeover in New York. The whole team has actually survived the changeover, but this is one that it was like, yeah, he's still going to be good. And number 12, the aforementioned Josh Giddey, 26 points, 2 threes, 11.3 boards and assists, 1 steal per game. Hasn't blocked a shot, interestingly, over the last week. 53-78 splits. Those are closer to what we were hoping for on the year. Here he comes. Giddey averaging a triple-double over the last week. Yeah, Kobe White is going to put a little bit of a dent into it. Billy Donovan saying that they're hoping to have Kobe back within the next couple of weeks, which it's annoying. That's a little bit longer, I think, than we were hoping for. We were hoping that the reevaluation this week would be like, yeah, he's super close. But they're like, yeah, couple of weeks. Grumble is what I say on that front, because I did draft him in one league. Didn't follow my own stupid advice. Don't draft injured players. But whatever. Josh Giddey's going to be great all season long. Kobe White's not going to change that really, I don't want to say at all, but not very much, because those two guys coexisted, and Giddey did a ton at the end of last year. It's going to be less Vooch, probably less Buzelis, certainly less Trey Jones, less Kevin Huerter. All these guys are going to go down. Giddey's not going to be sacrificing. He is part of the core there, and he looks amazing. He was drafted in the second round. You're not going to be able to get anything better than that for him right now, so just enjoy it, because he's on the rise, and this is where we thought he'd end up to begin with. Final recap on the 12 hottest players over the last week in fantasy basketball. Kawhi, Jokic, Maxey, Shai. Not much you can do there. Stephon Castle. Try to get someone in the top 60 range in 8-cat, 75-9 while he's running super hot. Cade, Scottie Barnes, Cat. Probably can't do a whole lot with those guys. Jabari Smith Jr., double down. Hold on Jabari Smith. Not because he's not a sell high, but because I think we'll get a better price on him if he can put together 1 to 2 more good weeks. And if he doesn't, oh well, you weren't going to do better than that on a return right now anyway. So roll the dice, baby. Devin Booker at number 10. You can't do anything with that. OG, you might be able to do something with that, but we also think he's just going to be good. So probably sit on OG for another couple weeks, similar to the Jabari Smith Jr. one. And Josh Giddey at number 12. Not much you'd want to do there. He's climbing back where he began. For those that are interested, a couple of names of guys that are outside the top 12. Second round right now over the last week. Harden, Adebayo, Julius Randle. That's a sell high guy. You'll probably see him on our buy sell show tomorrow. Luka, number 16 over the last week. Donovan Mitchell, Cason Wallace. That's a situation where he's at 3.3 steals per game, so he's not really a second rounder, but he's decent. You're just not going to get a return on him. Jake LaRavia has been running hot. He's shooting 71% over the last week. He's number 19. KD, Jalen Duren, I think is ready for a breakout. Don't sell on him. Isaiah Hartenstein, Victor Wembanyama at 23, Dante DiVincenzo at 24. He hasn't been good long enough to sell on him, and that is the lightning round top 24. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'm Dan Besbris. Find me on Twitter at Dan Besbris, DanBesbris. You can follow Old Man Squad as well. Hit the like button, YouTubers. Subscribe, everybody. And if you have a moment, check out the show description. There you can learn a bit more about YouTube memberships, Patreon, whatever. Help us fuel this thing, help us grow this thing, and help me make sure that everything stays free in perpetuity. That's it for shows today. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys tomorrow. I'll talk to you on social.